Okay, in this video we're going to look at algebraic fractions. The thing with algebraic fractions to remember is your knowledge about normal fractions. So we're going to look at just adding and subtracting today. And don't forget, when you are adding and subtracting fractions, so for example if we had 1/7 add 2/5, we can only add fractions if the denominators are the same. So at the moment they're not, so in order to complete this question I would have to multiply this first fraction by 5 and multiply the second fraction by 7 in order for the denominators to be the same. So this fraction would turn into 7/35 and this one turn into 14/35. And then you can add them like normal, so 7 add 14 is 21/35. So that's just, you need that knowledge before you attempt algebraic fractions, because you're going to need your knowledge of algebra and fractions together. So I'm going to do 3 examples. They're very similar to the examples that I've set for additional maths, okay? So let's have a look at the first one. So this one asks us to solve 3/2x plus 1 plus 2x/x minus 3 equals to 2. So I'd always make it look like this, okay? So make sure you've got both of the fractions on one side and then the number on the other. So the questions I've set, you might just have to move stuff around, okay? So I'm just going to ignore the equals 2 for a little bit, and I'm going to focus on this side. So like I said earlier, in order to add fractions, you need the denominators the same. So in my previous example, I cross-multiplied. I multiplied this first fraction by the 5 and this second fraction by the 7. So I want to do the same thing. I want to multiply all of this first fraction by x minus 3 because that's the denominator of here. And I want to multiply all of our second fraction by 2x plus 1 because that's the denominator of the first fraction. So when you're multiplying with fractions, I want to multiply the top and the bottom. So I want to do 3 times x minus 3. So I want to do 3 times x minus 3. And for the bottom, I want to do all of 2x plus 1. I'm going to put them into brackets because this is 2 parts times x minus 3, and then we can expand the bracket using FOIL to get our denominator. So that's the first fraction. And my second fraction, again, I want to multiply it by 2x plus 1, so I'm going to do 2x times 2x plus 1. Then I want to times the bottom, so I want to times x minus 3 with 2x plus 1. And again, that still equals 2. I'm not doing anything with that 2 at the moment. So now I just want to expand things. So 3 times x, that gives me 3x, and 3 times minus 3 gives me minus 9. On my denominator, so if we use FOIL, I'm going to do my first one. So 2x times x is 2x squared. My last ones, so 2x times minus 3, that's minus 6x. My inner ones, so 1 times x is 1x. And 1 times 3, my outer ones, my last ones, is minus 3. And so that's expanded all that. So I'm going to simplify in a minute. So my next fraction, I've got 2x times 2x, that's 4x squared. I've got 2x times 1, that's just 2x. And this bottom of the fraction, you can see is identical to the other one. I'm still got the two fractions, two brackets identical, so that's going to be the same, exactly the same as my other denominator, and again that still equals 2. Just going to simplify. So at this stage I can bring them together, so I can add together the top two. So I'm just, these ones can all come together because this is a plus, none of these things are affected, so they just stay the same. So I can put it into a whole one fraction where the top is my pink. So I've got 3x minus 9 add 4x squared plus 2x. The denominators then are what we have left, so 2 on both of the denominators. So these answers. I'm just going to simplify it as well. Okay, so this minus 6x plus x can be minus 5. So I've got minus 5x minus 3. So this 5x has just come from minus 6 plus 1. Okay, and this still equals 2. So what you want to do at this stage, because we want to solve, we want to find an answer for x. So at the moment, I've got some x squareds on top and I've got a 2 on my other side. So what I want to do, I want to simplify the top. So I've got 3x, let me use my highlighter. So I've got 3x, add another 2x, that gives me 5x. I've still got minus 9, and I've got positive 4x squared. So that's just the top. What I want to do with my denominator is I want to bring it to the 2. So I want to multiply all of that. I want to take it to the other side. I'm basically multiplying both sides by 2x squared minus 5x minus 3. So I'm just bringing the denominator over to this side so we're not working with fractions anymore. So I've got this side is still 5x minus 9 plus 4x squared. This side is now going to be expand my brackets. I'm just doubling everything basically. So 2 times 2x squared, that's 4x squared, minus 2 times 5 is 10x, and 2 times 3 is 6. So I've got one nice line. I'm going to bring everything to one side now. Doesn't necessarily matter which side. I'm going to put it all onto this one. So these would all stay the same. So I've still got 5x minus 9 plus 4x squared. Take over this 4x first, so minus another 4x squared. Take over your minus 10, so we're adding 10x. See how I'm changing that? That positive 4x went to minus 4x. Minus 10 is going to plus 10, so this minus 6 is going to add 6. And this is going to equal 0 now. I want to simplify now. So my x squareds can cancel each other out because 4x squared take away 4x squared is nothing. I've got 5x plus 10x, so that's 15x, and I've got minus 9 add 6, which is minus 3, and this still equals 0. I'm almost solving x now, so if I take over my 3, so 15x is going to equal 3, and then x divided by 15 would be 3 over 15. Okay, so that one was quite a nice one, so because it's got rid of both of your x squareds basically. So what we did, just to recap, we cross-multiplied first. So we took this fraction and we multiplied it by x minus 3. Then we took this fraction and we multiplied it by 2x plus 1. So this is my workings out here of doing that. I've expanded my brackets here. So I've expanded the brackets. I've just simplified then onto one big fraction. So because the denominators are both the same, so they come together. So they're both the denominators. Then I took this over to the other side. Ooh, I don't want to do that. Took that over to the other side, expanded, simplified, and I've got my answer of x equals 3 over 15. It's not always that simple, but let's do another one. Okay, so in this one we've got solve 4 plus x minus 5 over 2x equals x plus 1 over 3 x minus 2. So like the other one, it doesn't look as like the other one, so our other one started with it equal to 2. You want to rearrange it so it looks like that. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take this whole fraction and take it to the other side. So I want to subtract that whole fraction from both sides. So I'll have 4 equals, the first fraction stays the same, x plus 1 over 3. I could expand that now, but I'm just going to leave it. Minus x minus 5 over 2x. Actually, I am going to just expand this, okay? So I'm going to do 3 times x and 3 times minus 2 to get 3x minus 6. Okay, so I just expanded that here. So you want to do the exact same now. So if this 4 is going to equal, so just like the previous one, we're going to multiply all of this one by 2x. And we're going to multiply all of this fraction by 3x minus 6. So we're going to do the exact same thing. So we're going to do x plus 1 times 2x, and the bottom we're going to do 3x minus 6 times 2x, and we're subtracting the top one. I'm just going to put it in brackets because then that's 2 brackets going on because we've got 2 things happening. And the bottom we've got 2x times 3x minus 6. You can now see the denominators are both the same. I'm just going to expand things first. So I'm going to do x times 2x. I'll just look at my 4 equals. So that will be 2x squared, and then 1 times 2x is 2x. The bottom denominators now, so we've got 3x times 2x, so that's 6x squared. and 6 times minus 6 times 2 is minus 12x. So that's my one fraction expanded. I'm now going to do my other one. So the top one is a FOIL, so I'm going to do x times 3x, so that's 3x squared. X times minus 6 is minus 6x. Minus 5 times 3x is minus 15x, and minus 5 times minus 6 is positive 30. And again, these two can simplify, so those will be minus 21x. And the denominator, so 2x times 3x is 6x squared, and 2x times minus 6 is minus 12x. And you can see now your denominators are both the same, so you can bring the fractions together. Now this is going to be the trickiest bit because you do have a negative here, so very, very careful now. So this first one stays the same. So we still got 4 equals 2x squared plus 2x. We then want to minus 3x squared. So I'm going to put minus 3x squared. We then want to minus 21x. Now when you put minus 21, that would be plus 21x. And then we want to minus positive 30. So when we're taking away 30. And the denominator stays as 6x squared minus 12x. I'm just going to simplify now. So I've got, I'm using another highlighter, 2x squared minus 3x, that's going to be minus, still 4 equals, minus x squared. Then we've got positive 2 plus 21, so that's plus 23x. And then we have minus 30, so I've got minus 30. And it's still over 6x squared minus 12x. At this stage now, you can bring your denominators over. So you want to bring this 6x squared minus 12 over to the 4. So we want to, let me just move down a little. So we want to do 4 times 6x squared minus 12x is minus x squared plus 23x minus 30. Going to expand this bracket, so 4 times 6x squared is 24x squared, and 4 times 12 is 48x. And this other side stays the same, so that stays as minus x squared plus 23x minus 30. We can then bring them all onto the one side. Oh, I'm running out of room here a little. Let me just move this up. Bear with me. Make it a little smaller. So I'm just going to move that. Sorry, I'm running out of room. So I want to bring this over to the other side now. So I want to add, so this stays the same, 24x squared minus 48x. So I want to add my x squared. Then I want to take away, so I'm taking it all over to the other side, 23x, and I want to add my 30. And this equals 0. Simplify, so I've got 24x squared plus another x squared, so that's 25x squared. Then I want to do minus 48x minus another 23, so that gives me minus 71x and plus 30 equals 0. At this stage, you could, I've done a video on factorising quadratics. However, this one, it actually can't factorise into normal brackets. We're going to have to use the quadratic formula. So the quadratic formula, if I write it over here, so it's minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So it's important that this is a, so 25 is a, b is minus 71, and c is 30. So you want to substitute that into the formula. So you're going to have minus 71, which is just, I'll write minus 71, plus or minus the square root of minus 71 squared, minus 4 lots of 25 times 30 all over 2 lots of 25. So that, if we just want to simplify some of it, and then you can just put all into your calculator. So that would be 71. First add, if you want to, the square root of 71 squared minus 4 times 25 times 30. Well, that's over, all over 50. Then you're going to do the exact same but with a subtract. So 71 squared, I don't think I'm creating more room, minus 4 lots, oops, let's write it the same as the other one. 4 lots of 25 and 30, all over, if I squeeze it in, 50. Running out of room. Do I have my scientific calculator going? Right, let's work this out then. So we've got, I'm going to try and do this on my phone, which is going to go really bad. So we got, let's do the square root first. So we've got square root of 71 squared. Oh, this is not going to work. So 71 plus square root of 71 squared minus, I think I get 2.32. Double check that for me. Let me know, like in the email or something, that you give me back your answers if that's right or wrong. I don't think. Oh, this is not going to pick this up, is it? Just going to move this. Ooh. Up. So now we're going to do our subtracting one. And 71 take away 71 squared, and I think I get 0.52 rounded. Okay, so quadratic formula, something you're going to need to know. It is something that's given to you, but don't forget the first one is A, second is B, and the next one is C. Okay, so that one is very similar to the first one, however, we had to use our quadratic formula at the very end. So just zoomed out to simplify to make sure I'll go over everything that I did. So we first moved this over to the other side, then we cross multiplied, so we multiplied all of this fraction by 2x and then all of this fraction by 3x minus 6. Do a lot of simplifying, do a lot of expanding. Don't forget this minus does change all of these signs when you take it over, when you take them away. Okay, so when you make this one whole fraction, it will change it. So when you have it as one whole fraction, you can then bring the denominator over to the other side, to the 4, expand, take things over to one side so you've got a quadratic, and if you can't put it into double brackets, you're going to have to use the quadratic formula. Okay, alright, last one. So you've got another question which says express as a single fraction. This is a little bit easy, okay? So you've got 1, subtract all of that fraction. So don't forget, when we've been doing things normally, we've had 2 fractions and we've multiplied one by the denominator of the other one and multiplied and vice versa, basically. So this number 1 can be written as 1 over 1. Okay, so it's actually 1 over 1, take away 4x minus y over x plus 3y. So I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to multiply all of this one, but why am I using black now? I'm going to multiply all of this one by the denominator of x plus 3y, and I'm going to multiply all of this one by the denominator of 1. So this fraction will be 1 times x plus 3y is x plus 3y, and 1 times x plus 3y is x plus 3y. And if I times that fraction by 1, I just get that fraction. So I'm essentially multiplying it by the denominators here. So I've got the denominators the same. I can now subtract. So these denominators come together, and now I've got the top numerator is x plus 3y. So careful, tricky, minus 4x. So that'd be minus 4x. And then minus y. Minus y is plus y. And that stays as x plus 3y. This one is very easy, straightforward. Simplify. So we've got x minus 4x, well, that's minus 3x, and 3y plus y is 4y, and over x plus 3y. And that's it, because all they've asked is express it as a single fraction. as soon as you have a single fraction, I technically could have left it like this, but as soon as you have a single fraction, I just like to simplify. That's your answer.